When a science fiction author published a self-help book in 1950, no one expected it to spark a global religious movement. Yet less than 5 years later, the Church of Scientology was officially founded and began a journey full of promise, power, celebrity, scandal, and secrecy. This is the story of the Church of Scientology, where belief meets business, where spiritual yearning meets controversy, and where the question remains, is a religion a movement or something altogether different? Today, we'll trace its origins, examine its core beliefs, explore its organizational structure, and confront the controversies that shadow it. Let's begin. Lafayette Ronald Hubbard, better known as Ron Hubbard, began as a prolific writer of science fiction. But in 1950, he published Dianetics, the modern science of mental health, in which he proposed the idea that the human mind is made up of the analytical mind and the reactive mind filled with traumatic engrams. Overcoming these engrams, he argued, would free a person from neurotic limitations. The popularity of this book launched what became the Dianetics movement. As interest grew, Hubbard shifted his focus from therapy to spirituality. In December 1953, the Church of Scientology was incorporated in Camden, New Jersey. From the start, Hubbard cast his movement in bold terms. Man is an immortal spiritual being, the Thetan. His potential is limitless. His past lifetimes stretch far beyond the present. These ideas differentiated Scientology from conventional therapy and placed it firmly in the realm of spiritual belief. However, this transition also set up tension. The movement emerged in an ambiguous zone between self-help/therapy and religion, a positioning that would invite both followers and critics. As the 1950s deepened, Scientology expanded rapidly while facing challenges, from regulatory scrutiny, internal splits, and financial pressures. Hubbard sought to protect his teachings from medical/psychiatric regulation by recasting them as spiritual, not therapeutic. By presenting a theology of the mind, spirit, and universe, Hubbard had created more than a self-help system. He had created a movement with the past, present, and future of humanity in view. To understand Scientology, you must enter its inner architecture of belief, the Thetan. Scientology teaches that each person is not just a body or mind, but a living spiritual being, a Thetan. This Thetan's experience extends beyond this lifetime. Engrams and auditing. Central to Scientology is the concept of engrams, traumatic mental images from past experiences, including past lives, that inhibit spiritual freedom. Through auditing, an auditor uses an e-meter, a device measuring electrical changes in the body, to assist a person in confronting these engrams, thereby achieving the state of clear, the bridge to total freedom. Once clear, a Scientologist advances through operating Thetan levels, OTI, OT2 up to OT8. These are said to unlock further spiritual abilities and freedom. Dynamics and survival. Scientology teaches 8 dynamics of existence: survival of self, family, group, humanity, life forms, universe, spiritual, and infinity/God. The 8-pointed cross of Scientology symbolizes these dynamics. Church practices and courses. Members attend courses, seminars, and auditing sessions. The church markets these services worldwide. On its official site, Scientology emphasizes self-improvement, spirituality, ethics, and a complete and certain understanding of one's nature. In practice, this structure created a pathway. One could start as a new member seeking greater success, clarity, or spiritual growth, and then progress upward both spiritually and financially. Scientology is more than belief. It is institution. Its structure can be divided into several levels. Organizations and headquarters. Its international headquarters is the Gold Base in Riverside County, California. Its spiritual headquarters, Flagland Base, is in Clearwater, Florida. Churches, missions, and ideal orgs operate in many countries, licensed to use Hubbard's materials. Sea Org and corporate arms. Members who join the Sea Org, short for Sea Organization, commit to a hierarchy inside Scientology, with a kind of corporate religious lifestyle. Celebrity Center and Outreach, one of Scientology's signature moves, working with high-profile individuals. Famous members include Tom Cruise, John Travolta, and Kirstie Alley. Hollywood links gave the movement visibility and cultural resonance. Global reach. The church claims tens of thousands of missions and centers in over 150 to 165 countries. According to its own material, it is one of the fastest-growing new religions. The institutional growth allowed it to build media platforms, real estate holdings, training centers, and a global brand, but also invited attention, regulation, and controversy. For every believer, there's a critic. The Church of Scientology has faced intense scrutiny for decades. Here are key areas of controversy: fraud, legal rulings, and country status. In France, Scientology was convicted of fraud in 2009 and fined nearly $1 million. Germany classifies Scientology as an anti-constitutional sect. Some countries refuse to recognize it as a religion. Others grant full religious status. The patchwork status invites complexity. Operation Snow White and infiltration. During the 1970s, the church undertook Operation Snow White, one of the largest infiltrations of the U.S. government in history, targeting the IRS and other agencies. This saga reinforced how deeply the conflict between Scientology and secular authority runs. Financial practices and fees. Critics allege that Scientology functions as a business. Members pay large sums for courses and auditing. Some former members claim financial pressure and debt. In the UK, the advertising watchdog banned a Scientology TV ad for misleading claims about how many people the church helped. Treatment of critics and ex-members. Former members such as Leah Remini have accused the church of harassment, surveillance, and ostracism after they left. Remini sued in 2023 for emotional distress. The church strongly denies these claims and says it is unfairly targeted. Public perception and cultural critique. Large-scale surveys suggest many in the public view Scientology as a cult or business rather than a conventional religion. Documentaries such as HBO's Going Clear brought the controversies into mainstream popular culture. Critics say the church uses legal and PR strategies to suppress criticism. Media and psychiatry conflict. Scientology's long-standing war with psychiatry, opposing psychiatric treatments and drugs, has been another flashpoint. Together, these threads form a pattern of confrontation with governments, with ex-members, with media, and with mainstream religion and science. Celebrity membership has played a strategic role for Scientology. Having stars like Tom Cruise and John Travolta in its ranks brought global attention, which translated into legitimacy for many supporters. The church's volunteer ministers program positions it as a humanitarian movement. Yet beneath the glitz lies tension. Critics argue the celebrity image masks deeper issues of accountability and internal culture. Scientology's media machinery also includes its own network. The Scientology Network launched in 2018 as a streaming service controlled by the movement. Wikipedia. The presence of high-value real estate, Hollywood studios, and global real estate portfolios further illustrates how the church blends religion, media, and commerce. One of the most persistent questions: what exactly is Scientology? Religion. It offers spiritual teachings, rituals, sacred texts, promises of salvation, spiritual freedom. Characteristics usually associated with religion. Officially organized as the Church of Scientology. Business/enterprise. Critics argue the payment for courses and training, the licensing of materials, and the corporate structure point to a business model. Some legal judgments in Europe have upheld such concerns. Cult/new religious movement. Many sociologists describe Scientology as a new religious movement, NRM. Some governments label it a cult. The term cult carries stigma and varies by legal jurisdiction. In truth, it exhibits features of all three. Its complexity lies in overlapping identities: a religion organization, a global enterprise, and a cultural phenomenon entrenched in celebrity and media. What comes next for the Church of Scientology? Several trends suggest possible directions. 1. Digital and media strategy. Streaming, YouTube, online courses. The church is investing heavily in its media presence. 2. Legal and regulatory pressure. Governments continue investigations, classification hearings, and legal cases around the world. 3. Brand and public relations. The church markets itself as making life better for all people and emphasizes social initiatives, yet must address reputational deficits. 4. Internal reform or resistance. Some former members call for greater transparency, while others point to continued high-level secrecy. 5. Competition for spiritual attention. In an era of declining institutional religion and rising spiritual but not religious identities, Scientology must compete with many alternatives. For viewers and researchers, the takeaway may be this: the Church of Scientology is not a static phenomenon. It evolves, technically, economically, culturally. The question is not only what it is, but what it becomes. From a sci-fi author self-help book to a religion in dozens of countries, from Hollywood red carpets to courtroom controversies, the Church of Scientology remains one of the most intriguing and polarizing institutions of our time. Whether you view it as a genuine faith, a business venture, or something between, the facts tell a story of ambition, belief, power, and resistance. If you found this deep dive helpful, hit the like button, subscribe for more investigative stories, and tell us in the comments what surprised you most about Scientology.